Welcome back, folks, to Let's Play Star Trek Judgement Rites. And when last we left off, we were right on the boundaries of...
Castle Trelane. What else could it be?
Indeed! Castle Trelane of Gothos. We're right by the triplane that he used to shoot down the Enterprise. And we now have to, basically destroy various objects that we've got. But first, let's look around.
James T. Kirk looks at the vessel that shot down his ship with considerable enmity.
Well, it's pretty powerful.
Dr. McCoy wonders how much medical attention the crew of the Enterprise will need when this is over.
We'll keep you busy.
Mr. Spock is keeping his eye on his tricorder.
Well, pretty much you have been scanning everything the past few missions.
Lieutenant Commander Ellis's gaze is transfixed on Trelane's castle.
Against my better judgment, let's talk to him.
So that's where this Trelane is holding my ship. I'll wring his neck if he doesn't give it back.
That's not gonna work. Really not gonna work.
We should scan as much of the area as possible.
We should.
I hope we have shore leave after this mission, Jim.
Probably not.
The Enterprise is not far. I can sense it.
How do you sense that?
That is not logical, Captain.
Thanks, Spock.
I know, Mr. Spock, but I'd bet everything that I have it's nearby.
You don't have anything right now. Let's look around.
The hangar of Trelane's triplane. It appears to be abandoned.
That's not a surprise.
A fuel barrel lies abandoned on the ground.
That's convenient.
Grass.
I don't know what I was expecting when I clicked that.
A lot of trees.
I don't know what I was expecting when I clicked that either.
Grass.
I thought you might say it was something different.
This seems pointless.
Alright, and with that we're going to start, putting various items down. Like the clock
I do
here.
not understand why you wish to use the item in such a manner.
Fair enough. What about here? There we go. Putting it in the triplane?
You put the clock in the triplane.
Yes, we are. What about the locket?
You put the locket in the triplane.
Fair enough. Notice we still have some of the schnapps.
You put the chalkboard in the triplane.
And now for the earth-shattering kaboom.
Affirmative, Captain.
Indeed. We are not standing far enough away for this. We're really not standing far enough
Everyone
away.
Stay well back.
Further back than that. Nope, apparently right there.
I suppose I should be angry at you, Captain, with your act of vandalism against my beautiful aircraft. But then, barbarians will be barbarians.
Hello, Trelane. It's nice to see you too.
There's only one barbarian in the room, Trelane, and I'm looking at him right now. Release my ship, Trelane.
That's probably not going to get you very far at all.
And don't you ever grow up, Trelane? You may have powers of a god, but that doesn't even come close to making you a man. There's only one barbarian in the room, Trelane, and I'm looking at him right now.
I think that's a good option.
Captain, you're even ruder and more antagonistic than I remembered. How wonderful!
Well, at least he's happy.
What must I do to make you leave me and my crew alone?
I don't think he's ever going to.
I have no interest in leaving you alone, Captain. As for your crew, you're only a few feet away from them. Observe my trophies, Captain Kirk.
Oh? Let's not do that right now.
Trelane, the Baron of Gothos, smirks triumphantly as the little drama unfolds.
Yeah, it's probably all set up as well.
A polar bear rug.
What else do we have here?
These candles provide lighting for this gallery of Trelane's castle. An axe and shield. As with most of Trelane's collection, they are mostly ornamental.
What about these things in the ceiling?
An ugly gargoyle-like decoration.
I bet the other one is...
Trifle grotesque for this setting, isn't it, Trelane?
Good point.
Why, Kirk, I wasn't aware of your interest in the design of castles. I hope you like my rug better.
probably doesn't. What about the picture?
If the real thing weren't bad enough, a portrait of the humble Baron of Gothos smirks nauseatingly at you.
Ah. And a door.
A door? But to where?
And it's also barred.
Mr. Spock, wondering how they can surmount this problem.
That's gonna be tricky.
Dr. McCoy, not at all pleased to be in the same room as this madman.
And let's see how barely contained Ellis's rages.
Weird stuff, Mr. Ellis thinks. Why did I have to get mixed up with the Enterprise and their weird stuff?
Not quite what I was expecting.
James T. Kirk, looking very concerned.
Before we start talking to anyone here, also let's see if he's sorted out the heat thing.
A charming brick fireplace.
I'm gonna save.
Save new game.
We definitely want to save here. We want to save because we want to talk to people. Like Spock.
I can suggest no logical course of action that can resolve this dilemma.
Thanks, Spock. That was really helpful.
This is hardly a logical situation, Mr. Spock.
Good point.
Indeed. Still, I wonder if Trelane realizes the extent of his misrepresentation.
Probably not.
Well, this is another fine mess we're in, Jim.
Well, there's probably going to be about 5 or 6 more of them. I mean, that's how many episodes are in this game.
Any ideas on how to get out of this, Bones?
Why are you asking him?
Well, looking at it from a medical perspective, we might view Trelane as a biological control network. And everything else that's going on is controlled by Trelane.
That's true.
And?
What happens if Trelane loses control? Immaturity does seem to be Trelane's only weakness.
That's a good point.
That's dangerous, Bones.
Very dangerous.
Like playing with a phaser on overload, but that's the only thing I can think of right now.
Fair enough.
Well, how does the great James T. Kirk get us out of this mess? Or the ones who will get out of this mess alive?
Are you implying something?
None of us will get out of here alive if we don't stick together. Do you have any ideas, Mr. Ellis?
Well, might as well ask him.
Have you ever played hide and seek, Captain? From what you've told me, he's a cosmic child hiding from his parents. If I were his parents, I wouldn't leave him alone for a minute. I'll bet my life that someone's looking for him, Captain.
Now, there is a very good piece of advice that we have just been given. That is a very good piece of advice.
You just might be right, Mr. Ellis.
Thank you. Thank you indeed. That is a clue
Save new game.
to how we can outsmart him.
Replace previous.
But we're going to do a little bit more searching. We're going to see if he's managed to get heat in the fireplace. He didn't in the episode.
No unusual readings.
Fair enough. What about the painting?
Captain, the painting is another power object.
Ah. We could get rid of it. We could shoot it. Why not? Let's try.
Is it really necessary to use firearms?
Maybe.
It's a power object. You remember what happened the last time I shot one of his power objects?
Indeed.
Yes, it was destroyed. Trelane's power faded until he activated a secondary power object. We need to find a more permanent solution, Captain.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We could talk to him, I suppose. We could. But he wants us to have a look at these objects that are here. They look remarkably like starships.
This bottle contains a very realistic reduction of the USS Zimbabwe.
Ah.
My ship! Bring it back or I'll...
Oh, this is not going to end well. Don't do this, Alice.
This one's even more savage than the last one of your officers who made the same mistake. My compliments, Captain, on having such a spirited crew. Truly a testament to your fine leadership.
Well, let's look at it this way. It was his own fault that this happened. But we can't just leave him like that.
Release him, Trelane.
He's not going to listen to that.
He's done you no harm. Take me in his place.
Ooh.
He's not a member of my crew and you know it. Besides, he looks rather peaceful standing.
That's not a good one.
Release him, Trelane.
Let's offer ourselves instead, because if we offer Kirk instead, that's the last thing Ellis would expect.
He's done you no harm. Take me in his place.
Indeed.
Ah, the gallant Captain, intervening on behalf of one who
Oh?
I suppose I should thank you, Captain.
You should.
Later, Commander.
Indeed. So, that is something that you had to do. Let's have a look at the fourth one.
This bottle contains a very realistic reduction of the USS Enterprise.
That's probably because it is the Enterprise.
Jim, is that what I think it is?
Yep. Yes, it is.
It is the Enterprise, Doctor. It is functioning normally, aside from being trapped. The crew are alive and well.
That's good.
My latest hobby, gentlemen, putting warships in bottles, celebrating the grand martial heritage of your species.
Oh dear. What's this one?
This bottle contains a very realistic reduction of the SS Manikier, a Denebian transport.
We should probably get that back too. And this one.
This bottle contains a very realistic reduction of the SS Shinobi, a freighter.
Yeah, we really need to get all these back. And to do that, we're going to have to talk to Trelane.
Save new game.
We're going to use Ellis's idea.
Replace previous game.
We're going to make him think that there's someone looking for him. Let's see if that works.
Well, Captain, I suppose you're about to make your grand plan of escape.
Really?
You must think you're pretty clever, Trelane, with your replica of the First World War.
That could work.
Why should I have to make a grand plan to escape from a loser like you?
That's just going to antagonize the person that could end you with a thought. That's a bad plan.
I don't have to do anything. Eventually, your parents are going to find you and discipline you again.
That's true.
Fortunately, Kirk, my parents are otherwise occupied. They won't interrupt me when I'm winning.
I'm not sure you're winning.
But you have to compete first, before you can win. Send the others away safely, and I'll give you a chance at revenge.
That's going to end badly for you.
That's odd. I was sure I detected other power sources converging towards us when I was on the Enterprise.
Oh, that's good.
You weren't winning, Trelane. You never were. You had tremendous powers, you had a weapon, and I didn't. And you still fell on your face.
That's just going to antagonize him. Let's go with the whole someone's looking for him angle.
But you have... That's odd. I was sure I detected other power sources converging towards us when I was on the Enterprise.
Let's see if he'll fall for it.
No, you didn't. It's nowhere near me. But there's no harm in making sure we aren't seen.
Indeed.
She's gone. And now I have to think of the proper way to destroy my enemies. You have a brief respite before your destruction.
Also, that was a door that led to space. That's terrible. How did we even not get sucked down into space? We could try talking to a door. That's not going to work. Let's talk to Trelane again.
Well, Captain, I suppose you're about to make your grand plan of escape.
Are we?
You must think you're pretty clever, Trelane, with your replica of the First World War.
We could try that.
Why should I have to make a grand plan to escape from a loser like you?
No.
I don't have to do anything. Why
Let's
should I
try
have to
the
make a
first
grand-
one.
You must think you're pretty clever, Trelane, with your replica of the First World War.
It's not an accurate one, and Spock will tell you that if you give him about half an hour.
Why, thank you, Captain.
It's very inaccurate.
I wasn't complimenting you, Trelane. I've never seen such a piece of nonsense in my life.
That's not a good way of going about it.
Although you could have made that trench scene much more realistic.
That is not a very good option either.
If World War I had been the way you depicted, human history would have been a lot less bloody.
Are we going...
I wasn't complimenting you, Trelane. I've never seen such a piece of nonsense in my life.
As they said, he's very immature. We could scare him into thinking that war is terrible. And he'd probably be very scared if we showed him what the trenches were really like.
Although you could have made that trench scene much more realistic.
Although this isn't going to be good, we're going to do this.
Really, Captain?
Yes.
Look into the memory banks of the Enterprise, Trelane, recreate what's in there, and let me show you firsthand the glory of one of the bloodiest conflicts in human history.
Oh, this is not going to end well for anyone.
Not a liar, just misinformed. Use the memory banks of the Enterprise, Trelane. Recreate what's in there. War at its most realistic and terrifying.
That was a completely wrong dialogue. And I bet if we click here... Yep, there we go. Yep, this is more like what it would have been.
A dead French soldier. He survived a mustard gas attack at Ypres. But in this war, luck is not on anyone's side.
Indeed.
A German soldier. Though you couldn't tell it from the color of his uniform, mud has a way of making them all look the same.
This is probably not what Trelane wanted to see, or what anyone wanted to see.
A German soldier. He had lost his 3 brothers at Verdun, and had considered mutinying, but feared disgrace more than the loss of his own life.
But the First World War was horrible.
The sides of a trench. Moats filled with soldiers in which they besieged each other for 4 bloody years.
Let us look to Trelane.
Trelane, the Baron of Gothos, seems delighted by what he is seeing.
You really should not be, Trelane. You really should not be.
Kirk struggles to find the words to adequately describe this Holocaust.
There are no items for us to pick up here. We only have the Baron of Gothos to talk to.
This is worse than I imagined.
Let's talk to him.
Captain Kirk, I hope you had a good reason for dragging me out in the mud in the middle of the rain.
Yes, we did.
Look around you, Trelane. Is this glory? Is this valor? Smell the stench of death. While knights fought in the sky, millions died in the mud. Diseased, starving, mutilated. Is this the sort of game you want to play, Trelane?
Let's look at option 2.
For once in your life, Trelane, shut up and look around you.
That's probably not going to work.
Look around, Trelane. Take in the ambience, the romance of this place. Look at the proud soldiers celebrating the glories of war.
Let's be just very blunt with him.
Look around you, Trelane. Is this glory? Is this valor? Smell the stench of death. While knights fought in the sky, millions died in the mud. Diseased, starving, mutilated. Is this the sort of game you want to play, Trelane?
No, it is not.
But these people lost, Kirk. Shame and suffering is supposed to befall the losers in war.
Everyone lost in that war, Trelane.
These were the winners, Trelane.
Indeed.
You're inhuman, Trelane. You play games with people and ignore their suffering, just like the people who sent these men to die. You should have been a politician.
Let's not encourage him to continue thinking about new games to play. We just need to be blunt with him.
If you have any real courage, Trelane, if you want to experience real warfare, put yourself in their place. No powers, no titles. Experience the glory of war firsthand, like these men did.
Let's surprise him by saying that these were indeed the winners.
These were the winners, Trelane.
This is what happened to everyone.
Oh, yes. Gloriously sacrificing their lives for king and country.
No, Trelane.
We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, loved, and were loved. And now we lie in Flanders Field. There was no glorious cause. No glory in dying, in wasting your life without reason. These men knew pain, they knew anguish, but if you could feel what they felt, you would find very little excitement about war, or duty, or honor. You would not wish to experience the emotions they felt, Trelane.
No, you would not.
What you want to feel, Trelane, is a romance, a fiction, a lie crafted by humanity for generations to cover up the pain. We've learned to live without that lie, learned that our lives are better without it. I hope one day you learn it too.
I hope so.
Are you finished?
No.
Not until I've taught you some sense or until I'm dead.
One of those is going to happen very soon.
You're no fun anymore, Kirk. No fun at all. You're preachy just like them. Anything I'm interested in is always wrong.
This is wrong.
Release my ship.
No, that's not gonna work.
Trelane, look around you. Does this look right to you?
No, it does not.
Trelane, you don't go around hurting people and expect them to treat it as though they're having fun. The first thing a life form learns is to avoid pain.
Any other options?
Release my ship.
I think the third one is probably the most important lesson that Trelane needs to learn. If this is not going to develop, if we're going to stop Trelane from moving on with this desire to do what he's doing...
Trelane, you don't go around hurting people and expect them to treat it as though they're having fun. The first thing a life form learns is to avoid pain.
We're gonna have to say this.
Then how do you explain this delightful scene around us?
It's not delightful, Trelane.
Some politicians decided that the only way to avoid getting hurt was to send other people out to get hurt. We've tried to outgrow that. Not always successfully, as Mr. Ellis might tell you, but we try.
Indeed.
Captain, yours is a most confusing species. Perhaps I should spend some time thinking about it before I talk with you again.
At least we've got him thinking.
Captain's log. Missing starships have been restored to normal size and are about to return to their assigned missions.
That's good, and we also get this view instead of the other view as before.
It was horrible, Mr. Spock. Trelane recreated one of the greatest tragedies in human history. I've seen a lot, but even that...
Indeed, it was horrible to see.
The waste of lives is appalling, even when one operates by pure logic. When one considers what those millions of lives that were lost might have done for humanity had the war never taken place.
Well, now that we've taken care of business... Ow! I'll have to see Dr. McCoy about my shoulder.
Your shoulder?
Something happened, Captain?
Did something happen?
Mr. Ellis and I.
Uh-oh!
I see. Are your differences settled?
Uh-oh!
I'm afraid not, Mr. Spock. We each won a game of zero-G squash, but I'm afraid he was called back to the Zimbabwe before we could have a rubber match. I think I dislocated my shoulder with a rather wild swing in the second game.
Well, at least you're not punching each other. That was what I was kind of afraid might have been happening.
Then logic suggests that your injury would have caused you to lose the match.
Ah.
I suppose so. He's a good player and a good officer. I'm putting in a request to bring him on the Enterprise.
Oh, I'm sure he'll love that. But maybe he might have mellowed down when he realized that we're about to sacrifice ourselves to save his life.
That should be fascinating.
Yeah, it should.
Hello, Captain. I'm Captain Gernsbeck of the Shinobi. I thought I would thank you personally before we left for Cephas 5.
You look very familiar.
A pleasure to meet you, Captain.
Indeed. She indeed was the captain.
Have we met before, Captain? There's something familiar.
There is.
Perhaps we did, on some other planet, in some other star system, sometime long ago.
Indeed.
Message from Starfleet Command.
Oh yeah, I forgot my ship was in a terrible, terrible state. Yeah, we should probably get that fixed.
On screen.
I've reviewed your report from your recent assignment, Captain, and have a few comments.
Firstly, why is your ship exploding almost? Oh, ignore that. We were currently in combat with a triplane. Yes, I was about to ask about that in the report.
I am very pleased with your performance. It was a perfect mission, Jim. Your reputation as Starfleet's best starship captain is secure. Kane out.
Thank you very much. And now the fourth one, Light and Darkness.
Captain's log. While exploring an uncharted star system in the Deneb sector, we received what we think is a message from a distress beacon on Onias 2. We're en route to investigate.
Indeed we are. And that is where the fourth mission starts, with very little fanfare compared to the third one. And so, hopefully, the next time that Trelane is encountered by anyone, he's learned his lessons. And won't be so fascinated with war, and conflict, and death. So, when we come back, folks, the fourth mission, Light and Darkness. And I'll catch you next time, folks. And I'll see you then. Later.